Hello guys, welcome to the session. Continuing with the TCS Core Beta series, the problem which we'll be seeing today is minimum product array. Okay, this is not a mock beta question. I'll make it clear. This was not asked in the previous mock beta, but this was asked in the previous Core Beta examinations. Okay, problem is very simple. As usual, I'll display the question. Take a look at the problem. Try to understand it. Then we'll move on into the explanation part. Okay. Look at the question, pause the video if you want to. Okay, and also I'll show you the input format and output format, only then you'll be able to understand it better. Okay, so look at the input and output format, right? Pause the video, read the question, try to understand most part of the question, then move on into the explanation part. Okay, so what they are telling you in the question is, see here in the first line they have said the task is to find minimum sum of product of two arrays of same size. Okay, we are going to find minimum sum of product of two arrays of same size. Okay, so I'm going to find the minimum sum of product of two arrays. Okay, and what is given? K modifications are allowed on the first array. Modifications are allowed on the first array. Okay, k modifications can be done to the first array, right? In each modification, one array element of the first array can either be increased or decreased by 2. So, I can have a total of k modifications. In each modification, one array element from the first array can either be increased or decreased by 2. Okay, so that will be the third point. Each modification, one array element of first array can either be increased or decreased by 2. So what are they telling us in the question here? See, you are supposed to find sum of product of two arrays, right? They are focusing on sum of product of two arrays. First, let us understand how to calculate this value. Only then we'll understand the entire question. For example, I am going to consider two arrays, array 1 containing 1, 2, 3 and array 2 containing minus 2, 3, minus 5. Okay. Array 1 contains 1, 2, minus 3. Array 2 contains minus 2, 3, minus 5. Yes. So now we are going to find sum of product of the two arrays. Okay. Start from the rightmost term. Product of two arrays. What is the product of these two arrays? First, multiply these two. Multiply 1 into minus 2, our answer will be minus 2. Next, multiply 2 and 3, our answer will be 6. Then you multiply minus 3 and minus 5, our answer will be plus 15. Right? So, this is the product value. Now, I have product of two arrays. Look at the next part. Sum of product of two arrays. Along with the product, you should find sum of product also. So minus 2, 6 and 15 are the product values. We are supposed to find sum of these product values. So add all these values. Minus 2 plus 6 is 4. 4 plus 15 is 19. So sum value is 19. This is what they mean by sum of product of two arrays. Clear? Okay. Next we are going to learn what is the aim of this program. I told you how to calculate sum of product of two arrays, right? Now you should try to minimize this value as much as possible. In the previous step, we have the answer as 19. Yes, we are going to minimize in the same array. We are going to minimize this value, reduce the sum as much as possible. Try to bring it as 18, 17 or some negative value. Okay, that is our ultimate aim. This sum value has to be reduced. So the aim of the program is to minimize the sum of product of two arrays. To do so, we are allowed to modify only the first array. You can't modify the second array. If I give you two arrays, only the first array can be modified. Okay. The second array is non-modifiable array. It's a fixed array. Okay. Don't change that. change only the first array. And how many changes can we do? When you change an element, you can either increase it by 2 or you can decrease it by 2. That is what a modification means. One modification means either increase by 2 or decrease by 2. In which array? Only in the first array, no changes in the second array. Okay. Next step. Maximum modification allowed in the array is given as the input k. You can't just do infinite number of changes. Maximum you can do k number of changes. What is this k? K is given as input. Yes. So we are going to minimize the sum of product values. To do that, we are not going to change both the arrays, only the first array. So by change, we mean that one element can be increased by 2 or it can be decreased by 2. Second change, you can either change the same element or different elements. That is up to you. But at any point of time, you can either increase the value by 2 or you can decrease the value by 2. Yes, and maximum modification allowed in the array is given as input k. Okay, next one. The two arrays will always be of same size. This was mentioned in the question, guys. If you haven't seen it in the question, remember it now. Both the arrays will be of same size only. So don't bother about having different sizes. Alright. So let us take a problem, the same problem, and work with an example. With an example, we will learn. Take a look at the example now. Example, let us consider n value is 3 and k value is 5, and we will be provided with two arrays, right? Array 1 with elements 1, 2, minus 3, and array 2 with elements minus 2, 3, minus 5. Yes. Okay. So what are these values? N is nothing but number of elements present in the array. Number of elements present in array 1 and number of elements in array 2. We have already said that array 1 and array 2 will be of same size, which means one n value is enough for both the arrays. And k is nothing but the number of modifications you can do. For which array? For the first array. So first array can be modified by 5 times. Okay. Do you want to increase the value or do you want to decrease the value? That is up to you. But first array can be modified by 5 times. Yes. Now what is our aim? Our aim is to minimize the product value. Minimize the sum of product value. Yes. To do that, you can modify any element from the first array, any element or a set of elements. If you want, you can modify one element multiple times or you can modify all the elements by a set of times. That is up to you. Okay. So in each modification, what can you do? We can either increase the value by 2 or we can decrease the value by 2. Okay. Now this is the important point. Effect of modifying the same element k times is greater than modifying different elements each time. See, you are given a choice here. You have 5 modifications available for you, and in each time you can either increase the value by 2 or you can decrease the value by 2. See, let me say first time we'll modify first element. Okay. Second time we'll modify second element. Third time we'll modify third element. Fourth time again will modify first element. Fifth time again you modify second element, which means we are scattering the modification. We are not just modifying one element, we are scattering the modification. In that case, whatever result you get will not be your expected output, because when you scatter them you will not reach the utmost minimum. When will you reach the utmost minimum? When I target only one element and keep reducing or increasing that element as much as possible. At that time only I will have I'll have a minimum value. Okay, so that is the importance of the problem. Yes. So how do we work on this problem? First of all, you need to understand how to modify an element. That is, which element has to be modified. That is most important. Yes. How can we choose that? Choosing the element and choosing the modification. Both are important. Okay. Now, consider two numbers x and y. Some random numbers guys, x and y. X is from array 1 and y is from array 2. Yes. So, which means x value is from array 1. So, you can modify x value, but y value is from array 2. So, you cannot modify y value. Hence, only x value can be modified and y value cannot be modified. Clear? So now let us consider the first scenario. Both x and y are positive. For example, let me consider x value is 2 and y value is 3. Okay? Y value is fixed guys. You can't change that. So the product is 6. See, for your sum value to reduce, the product value also should reduce. Yes, if I multiply two positive values, my answer is a positive value. When I multiply two positive values, my answer is a positive value. If I have to reduce this, one of them should be negative, or at least it should be a lesser positive value. Even if I had 1 here, my product will become 3. Yes, instead of 2, even if I had a lesser positive value, product will reduce, which means the value should be decreased. If both are positive, decrease the value. Okay, decrease it how many times? Here in this problem, k is equal to 5, so you can decrease it 5 times. Okay, we can decrease it 5 times. So in each time we can either, you have to modify only by 2. Remember, each time you can change by 2, which means decrease by 2 5 times. We are going to decrease the value by 2. That is the rule. You can decrease it by 2 how many times? 5 times. So once first time when I decrease it, x value will be 0. Second time when I decrease it, x value will be minus 2. Third time, minus 4. Fourth time, minus 6. And fifth time, minus 8. Overall, this minus 8 is nothing but original value is decreased by 2 5 times. My right, original value is decreased by 2 5 times. So x minus 2 into 5. So 2 minus 2 into 5 is nothing but 2 minus 10. So our answer can be directly written as minus 8. Okay, 2 minus 10, our answer will be minus 8. So we will get the answer as minus 8. So conclusion is, when both the values are positive, if you have to minimize the value, then you should go with decreasing the value. Yes. So if both x and y are positive, then the product is also positive. Yes, since the product is also positive, if you want to minimize the value, x value has to be reduced. Okay, x value has to be reduced. Only then we can minimize the product. Yes, case 2. Both are negative. Let us see what happens before we work with the problem. Yes, so if both x and y are negative, x is minus 2 and y is minus 2. So in this case, product value will be plus 4. When both are negative, product will become positive. So how will I decrease it? To decrease it, see, if both are negative only, output will be a positive value. If one of them is negative and the other one is positive, then we will not have this issue, right? So to optimize the product, to reduce the product, we have to increase the value of x. Okay, when I increase the value of x by just 1. Even if I increase it by 1, I'll get minus 1. Minus 1 into 2, our product value will be 2. Sorry, yeah, product value will be 2. So, increase it so that your product value will minimize, right? So, here in this problem, you have to increase the value of x by 2. How many times? 5 times. Yes, increase it by 2 5 times. Okay, so 5 into 2, which is 10. So increase it by 10. Minus 2 plus 10, our answer will be 8. Clear? Minus 2 plus 10, our answer will be 8. So now if you look at it, x value changes as 8. X value changes as 8 and y value is minus 2. Now your product will become minus 16. Do you observe the difference? Last time the product was plus 4. Since I made one of them as positive value, product becomes minus 16. Okay. So now when both are negative, product is positive. To minimize their product, x value has to be increased so that either it becomes a positive value or product is minimized. Okay, so I think you get the flow of it now. When based on the values only, we'll decide whether to increase or decrease. Okay, okay. So if x becomes positive, x into y becomes negative, hence the value will be minimized. Okay, so don't think that to minimize the product you should always decrease the value. That is not true. Okay, to minimize the product based on the scenario, sometimes we should increase the value, sometimes we should decrease the value. In this case, I have to increase the value because one is both are negative. So when I increase the value, product will be minimized. Clear? Okay. Next case, x value is positive and y value is negative. Okay. So next scenario, x is positive, y is negative. So what will be the product? Product will be minus 6. I think you will know what to do. If I should decrease the product further, I can't change y. Y value cannot be changed. Yes. So to decrease the product further, y value cannot be changed. X value has to be increased. Don't decrease the x value. If x goes to negative, product will become positive. So that is not wanted for us. So increase the x value. Yes. So increase it by 5 into 2. Answer will be 10. So 2 plus 10 is 12. So x value is 12 now. After modifying, x is 12, y is minus 3. So product value becomes minus 18. Do you observe that? Yes. Previously product value was minus 6. Now product value is minus 18. So it has reduced. To reduce that, x value has to be increased. If x into y is negative, then minimize the product. For that, x value has to be increased. Okay. Next scenario, x is negative, y is positive. Opposite of this. X is negative, y is positive. Look at this case, x is minus 3, y is 2. So product will be minus 6. But to minimize the product, this negative value should become reduced further. Yes, if I increase it and if it becomes positive, positive into positive will give a positive answer only. We don't need that. So what should be done here? X value should be reduced further. Okay, in this case, x value is going to be decreased. Decreased how much? By 10. So minus 3 will be decreased by 10. We will get it as minus 13. So x value is updated as minus 13. Y value will still be 2. So now if I calculate the product, 13 into 2, product is 26. So from minus 6, product has reduced to minus 26. So again you can see that in all scenarios, sometimes increasing is going to be helpful, sometimes decreasing the value is going to be helpful. Okay. If you had full positive numbers, then you can say just decrease the values. But here it is a mix of positive and negative numbers, so sometimes increase the value and sometimes decrease the value. Okay. Since x is negative and y is positive, product will be negative. If product is negative, to minimize the product, you have to decrease the value. Clear? So now if you have known that sometimes will increase, sometimes will decrease. With this concept, let us solve our original example. Okay. So what is our original example? Array 1 contained 1, 2, minus 3. Array 2 contained minus 2, 3, minus 5. And how many modifications were allowed? K is equal to 5. So 5 modifications were allowed. We are not going to scatter our modifications. We will target only one element at any point of time. And array 2 cannot be modified. Array 1 only should be modified. Okay. So first I am going to modify zeroth index. This is the zeroth index. Focus here. Okay. What do we have? Positive value, negative value. So you can take a guess now. If I have a positive and negative value, should I increase array 1 value or should I decrease array 1 value? Think about it. When will the product be reducing further? If the product has to reduce further, then array 1 value has to be increased. Okay. Increase array 1's value 5 times. And each time what will you do? Plus 2 will be added. So 5 into 2, your answer is 10. So finally add 10. Don't add it each time, guys. Repeated addition is nothing but multiplication. Yes. Instead of adding 2 5 times, you can directly add the value 10. If you add the value 10, resultant array will be 11, 2 minus 3 and array 2 will not change. So array 2 will be minus 2, 3, minus 5. The same thing. So now sum of product of two arrays. Remember, that is what you should find. Sum of product of two arrays. So what is the product of these two arrays? 11 into minus 2 is minus 22. 2 into 3 is 6. Minus 3 into minus 5 is my 15 plus 15. Right? So I have the product. Add the three products. When you add the three products, your sum value will be minus 1. Okay. Remember, originally your sum value was 19. From 19, currently I have minus 1. So value has reduced. But the question is, can I reduce it further? Of course, from 19 to minus 1, it has decreased. Can we reduce this further? We'll look at it. Consider modifying the next index. We have array 1, we have array 2. This time we are going to modify index 1. Okay, focus here. Both are positive. If both are positive, product will be positive. So what should you do? You have to decrease the value. So next time we are going to decrease the value by 5 times. So reduce it by 10. When I reduce 2 by 10, my answer will be minus 8, right? So array 1 will change as 1 minus 8 minus 3, alright? And array 2 will be minus 2, 3, minus 5. Array 2 will not change. Array 1's first index value has changed, okay? So now what will be the product? Product will be 1 into minus 2 is minus 2, minus 8 into 3 is minus 24, minus 3 into minus 5 is plus 15. So I have the product values, add all the product values, you'll get the answer as minus 11. So last time the difference was, the sum was minus 1. From minus 1 it has changed to minus 11. So value is decreasing. But is this the least possible value? We don't know that yet. So move on to the next index. Modify second index. So our array is 1, 2, minus 3. Array 2 is minus 2, 3, minus 5. We are going to focus on second index. We have the second index here. Focus on the second index. Look at it. Both are negative. Minus 3, minus 5. Both are negative. If both are negative, then what should you do? You need to make one of them as positive. Only when I try to make one of them as positive, I will have a negative result. Yes. So to get a negative result, I'm going to increase the value. Okay, increase array 1 value. So increase the value 5 times. Each time add 2 means increase it by 10. So for minus 3, if I increase it by 10, answer will be plus 7, right? So updated array 1 is 1 to 7. Minus 3 has changed as 7 here, and array 2 will be minus 2, 3, minus 5. So what is the product? Product will be 1 into minus 2 is minus 2, 2 into 3 is 6, 7 into minus 5 is minus 35. So now add all the three values. When I add them, answer will be minus 31. Right? Minus 31 is lesser than minus 11. Previously I got minus 11. So this value is even more lesser. Can you understand? Okay, so now let us compare the three values. What are the values we had? Results after modifying them are, first time we had minus 1, next time we had minus 11, third time we had minus 31. So your least value is minus 31. This minus 31 should be printed as the output. That is our expectation. Clear? So when I give you an array, tell me what is the least sum that I can get. So now take a look at the sample test case also. Same thing. Input is 3 and 5. Number of elements followed by k values. Array 1 elements are given. Array 2 elements are given. And when I try to minimize the sum, I'll get the answer as minus 31. This minus 31 has to be printed to the output. Okay. So we are going to develop a program for this problem statement only. So I hope the problem statement is clear. So, okay. Let us move into the programming part, algorithm part. First step, always accept the inputs. That is going to be a first step. Let us do that first. Then as we identify each step, we will code it parallel. Okay. Okay. So what are the inputs we will have here? Look at it. We will have n value followed by k value and two arrays. Okay. So scanf. First two inputs are n value and k value. After n value and k value, we have a array elements. So first get first array index 0 till less than n index plus plus. We will get the first array. Scanf percentage d array 1 of index. After we complete getting the first array, we can move on to get the second array. Scanf percentage d address of array 2 of index. So now we have array 1 as well as array 2. Since I have both the arrays and all the inputs necessary, we can move on into the next step. What is the next step? See, as we have said already, our aim is to minimize the sum value, right? So whatever we have discussed in the explanation part, I'm going to develop the same thing in the coding part. What did we do with the explanation part? We considered one element, decided whether to increase or decrease it. After we increase or decrease it, we calculated the product. With that product, we had the total sum value, right? So whatever explanation we did for the problem statement, same thing is going to be implemented. Okay. So what we'll do here is, for each element, you are going to decide whether to increase the element or to decrease the element. Okay. So increase the element k times. When will you increase the element? Remember guys, I told you four scenarios, x and y positive, x and y negative, x is positive and y is negative, or x is negative and y is positive. I told you these four scenarios, and I also told you in which case you have to increase and in which case you have to decrease, right? So we'll do that here. If both are positive, increase, or if array 1 is positive and array 2 is negative, then also we have to increase. Okay. In these two cases, we are going to increase the value. So take each element and increase the element k times. When will you increase it? Either both should be positive, or array 1 should be positive and array 2 should be negative. In that case, increase, otherwise decrease the element k times. Clear? So I'll implement this process alone. Take each element and decide to increase or decrease. We'll do that. Starting from 0th index till last index, take each element, and also guys, see, I told you either increase the element k times or decrease the element k times. Yes, you can check this condition. You can see the scenario. Analyze whether we have both positive or one positive, one negative, or otherwise. You can create conditions for the four scenarios, or instead of checking conditions for the four scenarios, better calculate both the values. Calculate what happens when you increase the value. Calculate what happens when you decrease the value. Okay. When I increase the value, array 1 of index is increased by 2. We are not increasing it by 2 only one time. We will increase it k times. So 2 into k. Clear? So when I increase the element, array 2 should not change. Array 1 can be increased by 2 into k, or array 1 can be decreased by 2 into k. Yes, these are the only possibilities. So what will we do? In some cases we will increase, in some cases we will decrease. Yes, if you want, you can mention that if so and so condition increase, otherwise decrease. You can say it like that, or calculate both the values. Calculate what happens when you increase the values and calculate what happens when you decrease the value. After calculating them, your choice is going to be lesser of these two values. When I increase, I'll get an answer. When I decrease, I'll get an answer. Whichever value is lesser, choose that value. Increase less than decrease. Question mark. Okay. See which one is lesser. If the condition is true, increase is lesser. If the condition is false, decrease is lesser. Clear? So calculate what happens if I increase the value. Calculate what happens if I decrease the value. Whichever gives me a lesser output, I'll choose that. Or if you want to implement those four scenarios, you can implement it. No fixed rule for coding, guys. You can code it however you want. Okay. So now I have decided what is the modified product value. Yes, I would have chosen either the increased result value, or I would have chosen the decreased result value. Yes, and along with this value, what has to be multiplied? Array 2's element has to be multiplied. Either increase the value and multiply array 2, or decrease the value and multiply array 2. Yes, based on the product only you will choose, right? So increase the value and find the product, decrease the value and find the product. Whichever product is lesser, we can choose that product. Okay. Okay. Next. Now I know whether I have to choose the increased value or decreased value. Okay. Next, what should we do? We are supposed to calculate sum of product of two arrays. So find the product of two arrays and parallelly find the sum, because that is our result, right? If you remember, in each step, yes, first you will modify the value. I'll get it. After modifying the values, we will multiply these two values, and whatever product we have, we'll add all those values, right? So let us implement it here. Multiply all the elements. Okay. So for I'm going to use multiplication index. Starting from 0, multiply all the elements. So less than n, multiplication index plus plus. Okay, what should we do? We have to multiply array 1's multiplication index should be multiplied with array 2's multiplication index. Right? Multiply array 1 element with array 2 element and parallelly keep adding those values. Multiply the two values and parallelly add the values. See, for all the arrays, for first index I have original values, for second index, I mean 0th index and first index I have original values, but when it comes to second index I should consider the modified value only. I'll not consider minus 3. I'll consider the modified product value. Okay. Original product was 15 guys, but after modification product is minus 35. You should consider modified product value. For which one? For your working index. If you are working with the second index, for remaining indexes take the original value. For second index alone take the modified value. Okay. So if multiplication index is same as your working index, right? Working index is this one. I'm taking one value and increasing or decreasing it, right? So if multiplication index is same as working index, in that case, we should consider modified product. Which variable has the modified product? Choice has the modified product. Either increase or decrease, one of them will be chosen. Choice will have the modified product. So for that index alone, take the modified product. For the other indexes, add the original values. Clear? So each time do this operation, have a variable sum, initialize it to 0. Now parallelly what should you do? I'm adding all the values. For what purpose are we adding all these values? We are adding these values because, sorry, yeah. So we were working on the algorithm part. Yes. So calculate the sum of product of two arrays. I've calculated the sum of product of two arrays. Why do we calculate it? So that we can know which one is the minimum. Yes. So trace the min value each time. Here we are going to trace the min value. So min is a variable initialized as int max. And where do we have this int max? We have it in limits.h. Guys, if you don't understand why we have this int max and limits.h, I'll explain it in the doubt clearing session if you want to. Okay. So the int max is nothing but highest value that can be stored by an integer. Minimum should not be initialized with 0 guys, because I may have a negative value also. So don't initialize it with 0 or don't initialize it with 100 or 200. Choose the highest possible value. So highest possible value is int max, which is why I'm using it. If you have doubts about it, I'll clarify it in the doubt clearing session. Okay. So after you calculate the sum, this is where we'll calculate the sum. After we calculate the sum, update min. How will I update min? Check whether sum value is less than min value. Question mark. If sum value is less than min value, then choose sum, otherwise choose min. Which means whichever is lesser among these two, choose the lesser value. Okay. And after you finish the process, modify each element, calculate the sum, trace the minimum. After I finish off the process, which value has to be printed to the output? Minimum value has to be printed to the output. Yes, whichever is the least, printed to the output. So min value is going to be printed. Clear? So let me compile and check whether we have missed anything. Compile. Yes, look at that. sample test case is passed. So I'm going to submit it now. Okay, all test cases are cleared. So now we are going to work on optimizing this program, because there is something which some of you might have noticed here. There is a process which is recurring again and again. What is that process which is recurring again and again? Let us clear the screen. Yes. Calculating sum of product of two arrays. Think about it. All values will be same except one product. If I have 10 elements, at any point of time, I will modify only one product value, not all the product values. Yes, just because one element changed, is it necessary to recalculate all the products? Only that one element would have a different product. All the other 9 elements will still be having the same product. Yes. So instead of creating a new product array, instead of calculating a new product each time, you can simplify it, and you can do it as, so at any point of time, only one element will change. Okay. So how can I deal with that? All others are going to remain the same. Since all others will be the same, we are going to update changes only for the modified element. Okay. Instead of recalculating all the values, update the changes caused because of the modified element only. Okay. Focus only on the modified element, not on all the elements. So how can I do that? See, initially for three elements, sum, initial sum guys, with no modification, initial sum will be first two, first zeroth index of two arrays, first index of two arrays and second index of two arrays should be multiplied and added. This is sum of their product values, right? Now first modification will be done to zeroth index. If I make a change to the zeroth index, if zeroth index is modified, remaining part will not change. This part, look at the highlighted part, this part will not change, obviously, right? If it does not change, have that value and work on this part alone. Okay, since this part does not change, don't recalculate these values, work on the value to be modified. Yes, so what can I do? I can eliminate the value to be modified. This is the product which will change. Yes. So first remove this product. Okay. Remove this product, then add the modified product. Clear? Since this is the only value that will change, what you have to do is remove this original product and add the modified product, so that you don't have to calculate every single value. Clear? But to do this, first time we should have calculated overall sum. Yes, if I should implement this technique, initially I should have calculated overall sum. From that overall sum, I can make all my changes. Okay, so instead of recalculating this value, we are going to implement a different algorithm. But to implement that algorithm, at first itself I should have calculated overall sum. We'll do that. For index equal to 0 till n index plus plus, so multiply array 1's element and array 2's element with no modification. Okay, I haven't done any modifications, I'm just multiplying them, and once you multiply, add the values parallelly. After you multiply, add the values parallelly. So have a variable sum, initialize it as 0. Clear? So now I know what is the original sum. So as I've told you here, first step to calculate current sum. That is, when I modify a value, I will be having a sum. That is going to be the current sum. How can I calculate current sum? To calculate current sum, first we should subtract. What has to be subtracted? Original product has to be subtracted. Original product has to be subtracted, and after I subtract the original product to the current sum value, after we subtract the original product to the current sum value, add the current product. Where do we have the current product? We have it in the choice variable. Okay, so add the choice variable. Can you understand this? Yes. Eliminate original product and add the current product. Whichever we have chosen, add that. Okay. So question is, how will you calculate original product? We need the original product, right? Original product is the product without modification. So original product is the product without modification. Array of 1 of index into 2 of index. No modification. Don't add anything, don't subtract anything. With nil modifications, whatever value you have, that is your original product. So remove the original product, then you add the chosen value, that will give the current sum. Okay. So current sum is equal to total sum minus original product. Sorry. Current sum is equal to total sum minus original product plus choice value. Okay. From the sum, subtract the original product to the resultant value, add the choice. Clear? Okay. So now you have to calculate minimum value also. Min is equal to same thing. Current sum less than minimum. Question mark. If it is true, give current sum. Otherwise, give min value. Clear? The steps are same guys, but instead of calculating product each time, I will just have the sum value originally. From that original sum value, each time we will subtract the original product and add the current choice. So based on that, I will be able to find out the min value. Clear? Okay. So have we declared all the variables? Let us see if it throws any error, then we'll check into it. Okay. Yes, sample test cases are passed. I'll submit it. All test cases are clear. So we have optimized it in terms of time. However, we haven't optimized it in terms of space because array 1 and array 2 have a fixed size of 1000. But here, look at the constraints. N value will be till 10 power 5. 10 power 5 means it is 1 lakh, right? You may have till 1 lakh elements and the values can also be till 1 lakh. Okay. So what you have to do here, instead of having a static declaration, we are going to have dynamic method of declaration. Okay. To use dynamic declaration, we will need the header file mlog.h. With that mlog.h, array1 is equal to int star mlog size of int into the number of elements. So I hope you are all familiar with this. If not, again guys, join in the doubt clearing session because some of you may know this. If you are thorough with the basics, some of you will know this, some of you may not know this. So if you don't know, please join the doubt clearing session. I'll explain how mlog works and everything. Okay. So that's it. Compile again. So even now test cases are passed. Only thing we have done here is I've optimized the space we need. I'm not going to have a fixed space. I'll keep changing the space each time. So submit it once again if you want to. Anyway, it will clear all the test cases. Okay. So that's it. We have completed one problem. Right.